And we are recording.
I'm recording. You know, I'm looking at our notes. I'm not getting any sleep tonight. I'm ready.
This is going to be one of those where if you have a loose butthole, pucker up, baby, because you're about to shit yourself.
What have you heard? Loose butthole. Who's talking?
I hear Simo sounds like a jiggling chain. This is Simo. Hello, echo. Woo.
My morning farts sound like this. They used to sound like this.
That's right. They went from sucking on a lemon to barfing after a frat party.
I used to entice the gentleman like this. But now my butthole says damaged goods.
It says it went from hi guys to does anybody have a cigarette?
Yeah. Give me a fucking cigarette.
Oh boy. And we're a minute and 30 in, and we're balls deep in your asshole. So we're gonna do this. Three, two, one.
What are you doing?
Testes in my mouth.
Get on the ground, you fucking pledge!
Ew.
Welcome to the greatest podcast experience of your life. This is the FratChat Podcast.
All young men like three things. Food, booze, pussy.
Featuring Carlos Garcia and Chris Moore.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasting time. It's the FratChat Podcast. I'm Carlos Garcia with Chris Moore. How's it going, Mr. Moore?
Oh, I'm good. Same old. How about you?
I am living the dream. I'm glad we got to this part without having to take 13 minutes this time around. Like last week. Because we are professionals, damn it.
Was I drunk last week?
I don't know. Maybe we both were. Because that was
Maybe
also
I was drunk.
Me.
Was I high? I don't know.
We were just great conversationalists. You know, you can't spell a conversational without anal. So we're good at that here at the FratChat Podcast.
Oh my gosh!
Write that down.
Whenever I see the word analyst,
oh yeah, I can't not laugh at it.
I can't. I'm awful.
Analytics, same thing. Or just when people are like, "I'm very anal about that," I'm like, "Are you? Are you?" Because I brought some lube.
Okay, so you should always carry that with you because you could always help a friend out. I think the other day I had a coworker. I said, so and so is so anal retentive, and they were like, "Whoa, Chris, whoa." I was like, "Oh, we can't say that."
That's why I got arrested, smuggling things into the airport. You know what I mean? Very anal retentive. They found 3 explosives and 6 pounds of cocaine up there.
So what do you say in place of anal retentive? Like they're just too particular, or the OCD?
Yeah, I guess, but I don't think that's bad. I think that person.
I don't think it is either.
I don't think that person knows that anal is not just anal sex and ass stuff. I think that person just might, be silly, being a silly butt. So, yeah, I think that's very good work talk, if anything. But
did I don't know if I told you that I put my foot in my mouth the other day because
so the yoga classes are paying off.
Yeah, let me tell you.
You don't have to get those ribs removed. I see.
I used to wipe myself, but now I just lick myself like a dog.
That's right. Look, Mom, Marilyn Manson.
Yummy. Yeah, but that's how you get worms. Okay, so
that's right.
I'm at the bar, and this guy was missing a big tooth.
Oh.
And he said, "I'm gonna go he was from, I think, Ecuador. He's like, if
Oh,
I go to Ecuador, I can get teeth for cheaper. I
yeah,
was
no,
like,
I get it.
okay, as long as you go someplace that's like reputable, I get it. So he's like, it's $3,500 here in America, but if I go to Ecuador, it's only
Mhm,
$500. I was like, yeah, that's a
totally.
big difference. I was like,
Yeah.
but are you gonna pay that much in like travel? Like, he's like, no, no, no.
That's true.
So I said, okay, but what about the other tooth? He's like, what other tooth? And I was like, never mind. He's like, wait, what? I was like, so he had just a gap, but it wasn't a missing tooth. He just had a little
It's
bit of a
just
gap.
yeah, too, right.
And I felt so bad. I felt so bad. And then I kept looking over and I kept seeing him looking at he was an older guy. He kept looking at his reflection in his phone, like fixating on the gap. That like
Oh,
I don't think he had like a complex until me.
until
So
you. How did you guys even start talking about his teeth?
he
Like,
sat down and he was older than us and he's like, he's like, can I sit here? I'm like, yeah, go for it if you want to. Yeah. He's like, is this like the young kid corner? And I was like, God bless you. We're all in our 40s. He's like, I'm in my 50s. Okay, we're not that far away. So then he was like, yeah, but this tooth, he was self-conscious about. So I feel like it's sometimes, like as comedians, when we were younger, we would call it out before other people could if we were
totally,
self-conscious about something. So he was
totally.
like, yeah, I'm missing a
Oof.
tooth, but I'm gonna get it fixed. I'm like, okay, what about the other mistake in your mouth? My God, I felt horrible. So
You
like,
can't even be
Chris,
nice, right, Simo? What the fuck, dude?
you got to do better.
Oh
And
my god.
and then to make it even worse, this night there were like drag kings, and I feel so horrible saying this. I love drag queens, professional drag
Yeah,
queens. Amateur night, I'm like, I don't know. But when people present themselves as a drag king and they don't spend a lot of time and energy in perfecting like
the bro.
a um a convincing costume, if they just put on like a weird tracksuit and paint a beard, like they didn't do enough. Do you know what I
Right,
mean?
right. Totally,
I'm
totally.
like,
You
you
gotta
suck.
commit. I feel like this stuff, like being a drag queen or being a drag king, drag nights in particular, or a lot like open mics and the comedy world. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
uh, and you'll see it in an open mic. Maybe sometimes like a great comedian will pop in, run his set. And it's awesome. But you'll also see like the worst pieces of shit that comedy that claim to be comedians at these things. You know what I mean? It's like these people are awful. They're just edge lords who want to try to say the R word or something in
Yeah.
public, and they're like, this crowd is just they're too woke. It's like there's no man, you're just fucking awful. So it's the same thing because I have done a surprising amount of comedy at drag nights actually, where it's like a host is a drag queen and she like does that, brings everybody up in between. She'll do her numbers. Sometimes like a guest performer will come through in between people and like they tell jokes too. You know, like they're usually like funny and they're not all of them, but like some have like the pizzazz and the people laugh, people fun, and then the comedian comes up. So I've gotten to experience quite a bit. And yeah, if you're not putting dedication into the bit, it's just not going to be good. It's the
You
truth
know,
in comedy, acting, and in drag nights. My
I
humble
don't I
opinion.
feel like I'm gonna get canceled for saying this. So maybe I shouldn't, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So
Nah.
there's there's this one drag king, and this person uh dresses up like a woman, but then I said to someone else, I said, well, I don't understand, like she's a woman dressed kind of like a stripper and she's dancing around. So like, is that drag or she's just dressed like a slut and like shaking it? Like, I don't understand. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Yeah,
Chris, this person's non-binary. I said, okay, but still anatomically a woman. So what preparation did they do to convince me that they have, embodied a different persona? Does that make sense? So I'm like,
yeah, I get it.
so like my buddies, will put on like a breastplate and all this padding, and I know that they're tucking shit. I know it's uncomfortable, and they're shaving everything and all this contour, and their wigs are heavy, and they do so much preparation, and then this, quite frankly, this like half-assed performance of this. I'm sorry, this stupid bitch comes in here with
I
like
knew that's what you wanted to say.
stupid bitch comes in here with a oversized suit on and paints on like a shitty beard, and she's like, "Look at me." Or this other girl, this person, they came in and put on like a cat suit, like a jumpsuit, no padding, nothing, and just and then like did their hair nice and pretty and had like some crazy eyeshadow, and they're like, "I'm a drag queen." Are you, or are you just like dressing up fancy? Do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Totally.
It's just almost offensive to me.
Totally.
I think I'm just getting old. I'm getting old because I'm getting crotchety about, cranky about this dumb shit.
Yeah, you might be a boomer now.
I might be a boomer.
That sucks.
I just need to be
sucks.
quiet and like suck my thumb in the corner.
Anyway. My day.
So you're gonna be out of town this weekend. You're gonna go see your mom.
I'm gonna see my mama. It's a birthday on Monday, so I'm gonna stay in Maryland till Monday. Because next week it's just kidding, baby. So, but we'll celebrate over the weekend and stuff, which is it's better than doing it on Monday anyway. So, it'll be fun. It'll be good times.
Excited. Fun.
Yeah. However, that's enough about us, because now it's time to hear from you guys, because we have some great emails here, and it's emails from the listeners. Oh yeah. So
yes,
I'm going to take the first one this week just because it's long, and once I gave it a little skim there, once you see what the subject is about, you'll actually get why this one is long. I think this dude is just a little long-winded, if you will. So let's do this thing. He goes, "Hey, Frat Chat. This is Jeff from New Jersey." He goes, "Hey, Frat Chat. I need you guys to tell me if I completely nuke my chances here, or if I'm just in my own head spiraling like an idiot." Okay. So there's this girl I've been talking to for a couple of weeks. Vibes were good. We've been joking around, a little flirting here and there. Nothing crazy, but definitely not just like, "Hey, how's your day" energy. So naturally, my dumb brain goes, "All right, we're cooking." The other night we're texting, joking back and forth, and I decide to throw in a slightly suggested joke. Nothing insane, just enough where she's into it, she'd laugh, and if not, I guess I'd look like the guy who tried a little too hard. She doesn't respond. Now, instead of acting like a normal, confident human being and just letting it breathe, I panic. And he says panic in all caps. After like 20 minutes, I send a follow-up basically explaining the joke.
Oh, God, that's even worse. What was the joke?
Yeah, right? Well, he's not even, I don't even know what he's saying. It, which I now realize is the least funny thing you can possibly do.
Correct.
Still, no response. Yeah, no shit.
Not good.
At this point, I'm in full damage control mode. I send another text saying something like, "LOL, that came out wrong." Then another saying, "I didn't mean it like that." Then another trying to pivot the conversation entirely. Long story short, I sent 6 or 7 texts. No reply. Oh my God. Hours go by. I already accepted that I'm blocked, canceled, and probably being used as a group chat example of "this is why I hate men." Then out of nowhere, she responds. Says she didn't have her phone. That's
Lie.
it. Just completely normal. No mention of my meltdown. No acknowledgement of the fact that I basically wrote her a short novel. So now I'm sitting here feeling like I just screamed into the void for 3 hours. Be honest with me. Did I completely overdo it? Yes. Did I text myself out of a chance here? Or do I just act like nothing happened and I hope she somehow didn't notice I had a full emotional breakdown via message. Appreciate you guys. Signed, typing. Just kidding. It's Jeff from New Jersey. God, Jeff.
Jeff, it's not good. That's
yeah,
not
this is not
good.
great. This is not great. This is not great.
I don't.
Yes. It's just the worst. Like, just. It's just sad, Jeff. Like, at that point, for one thing, I even have it in my bit. Like, the secret to comedy is explaining the bit. I even have it. I even joke about that on stage. It's fucking the dumbest thing you can do. You put out a net there, and you didn't even wait for the bait to respond. So if you're going to be confident enough to try a little slightly suggested joke, and no, you didn't even tell us what the fuck the joke is, so we can't even tell you how bad you fucked it up. But if you're going to try to be confident and try a cool guy move, then you have to be confident enough to wait for a response to the cool guy move. Don't fucking immediately go into damage control, man. You fucked up. 7 messages? 7? That's like what you do as a stalker, or if you're like in a fight and you're just yelling, like when you're too angry to type long paragraphs and you're just like, fuck you, asshole, like.
And another thing.
That's right.
I think that when you're courting someone, you want to come off calm, cool, collected. You want to come off sexy. Explaining a joke and then having like a breakdown. It's not sexy to me.
Totally.
I would have looked at those texts. Sorry, Jeff. I would have looked at those texts and been like, what a bitch.
Yeah. Like, this dude's kind of nuts. Or like just extremely neurotic. And it's like either way, like, ooh, it's a very special person to date someone that neurotic.
Jeff, I'm sorry. Thanks for listening to our podcast. But like, if you said that there was a joke that was slightly suggestive, I feel like you're downplaying it.
Yeah.
It might have been really suggestive. Maybe you're like, maybe you're like, wow, it's raining, I'm soaking wet. Not as wet as you're gonna be tomorrow night. Like, it's probably something really gross.
It's like, hey, baby, want to come over and pet my wiener? My wiener dog, that is. Her name is Stella.
Yeah.
Oh, God. My name is Carlos Guillermo Garcia Contreras Machado Navarrete Quintero Lanera, baby. So you can tell I'm a mouthful. I'll be here all day.
Well, what was his girlfriend's name? Let's say it's Susie. Susie, kissed your dad with that mouth?
Because I do.
I do. Just kidding. I like to see it. What? No, I don't like to watch. I like others to watch me. Just kidding. You just see what I did there? Just okay. Well,
yeah, let's see what I did there. Please answer me. Yeah, dude, Jeffy, you fucked that up, dude. I don't know how to tell you
Jeff,
this.
It's not looking good.
I don't know. And especially, I'd like to know if she still talks to you or if after that responds. Because once you get like a 1-sentence response to a diatribe like that, that usually means it's over too. That means
if it wasn't a big deal, I feel like if I got the sense that someone was like panicked and I didn't want them to, and it really wasn't a big deal, I would respond with, whoa. I walked away from my phone. No worries whatsoever. It's all good. Don't panic. If I was upset, you would know about it. Like I would try to like calm them down, but for someone to be like I walked away from my phone.
Yeah. You're kind of beat there, buddy.
She was texting her girlfriends like, what the fuck do I say to this nutcase? Like, everything was going so great.
Yep. And then you just had to make a joke. But so, Jeff, it's very rarely we actually get people that we fry to respond to us, but I do think you owe us at least telling us what the fuck the joke was. And when if you do it in time for like next week's episode or the week before or the week after that, I will read it on the air, and then we can talk about just how bad you fucked up. But just as a rule of thumb, and goes to uh, mostly dudes, but I would say some ladies do it too. So people in relationships and boomers who don't know the etiquette of texting, you get 3 texts in a row, in my opinion. And that's only if you're like one of those quick like talk texters who kind of like talk the way they text. So it's like, hey, what's up? How are you? That's all technically one sentence, but it's broken into 3 texts. That's already annoying to get 3 notifications. That's the max. Unless it's something like, help, I'm dying, send help, call 911, that's different. Unless you're fighting for your life, there's no reason why you should text someone more than 3 times, especially if you're trying to court them.
I agree. I think my gut's telling me that it's probably a pretty gross, really crude, and then he instantly felt bad about it. And the other part of me is like, why not just delete the text? If you both have an iPhone, just delete the text.
Yeah. It's like, hey, baby.
Or edit it, and just like put something else in there.
You can't spell analytics without anal and lick.
It was like I want to pet your pussy, and then edit it. Puppy. I'm sorry, I meant puppy. Autocorrect. Right.
Oh. Yes. However, if he went to try to explain the joke too, so there he lost any kind of ability to even do that and be like, "Oops, autocorrect." I meant to show you. I want to show you my sick, as in my sick grandma. There she is, not my dick. It was just damn spell
I
check.
bet it was something so gross, like you know what I want? I want you to grow your underarm hair, so when I fuck it, it feels like the real thing. It's gonna be something so gross. It's gonna be really bad.
Through 2 miles of glass just to smell you fart through a cup.
Yeah, it's not gonna be good.
Oh my god. I agree. So Jeff, let us know. FratChatPodcast@gmail.com. We really need an update here. But anyways, up to you now, Mr. Mel. Well, what you got?
Okay, this one's local. This one says his name is Aaron from Queens, NYC.
Oh, Queens!
I'm in Queens right now. I'm in Astoria.
Yes.
Okay, so this guy writes, "Dear Frat Chat, I'm writing this email on my way home from Buffalo Wild Wings."
Oh no! And I think I know exactly.
I hope you're not driving while you're writing this email. I don't know. Is that a bigger mistake, or is Buffalo Wild Wings the mistake?
And no, are you at a real Buffalo Wild Wings or like the one to go in Astoria, right by the station? So they have like a little stop and go there. I will judge you slightly more if you're at like the little one. Just saying.
Okay, so I'm already kind of judging a little bit. Okay, yeah. I'm writing this email on my way home from Buffalo Wild Wings. I had terrible service, but doesn't matter because I was obligated to tip 20%. Some places automatically apply gratuity. I understand if it's a large party, but tonight was just my wife and I. And after a horrible experience, I'm expected to reward their bad behavior. I feel like I'm expected to tip everywhere these days. What are your thoughts on tipping culture in America? Your loyal fan, Aaron from Queens, NYC. Well, we actually talked about tipping fairly recently, but I think that's bad.
I've never seen a chain like that would apply 20% without it being like a party, or unless you order like $500 worth of shit.
There's a lot of like racial discrimination in restaurants. So there's a lot of people with servers that they see a certain demographic come in, like they could be, I feel like the Black community has always gotten a bad rap about tipping. And so I remember when I worked at California Pizza Kitchen, people would say things and like joke or try to, can you take that table? Like, that's not nice. And then also some people, would also complain about people that are like South Asian, like if they were like from Indian descent.
Foreign countries, usually like in Venezuela, for example, the waiter has a salary, like he makes like a wage at the restaurant, so you would tip someone like 5 cents. Literally your change was like a little tip. They don't have to live off of it. So in most foreign countries, it is like that. They make money off of like what the restaurant makes every day, and
Well,
people get paid
so I was
out.
gonna say, like, I think that there's some demographics that really get like a bad deal, and bad reputation. But if I was a server, if I was being strategic, if I heard a European accent, I would apply gratuity to those tables because, like you said, they don't know tipping culture and they assume that you're making like good money.
Yeah,
So, like that's what I don't know, but I hope that Aaron, that this wasn't uh racially driven situation where someone looked you up and down and was like, "Oh, this person, this group, or this demographic doesn't tip, so I'm gonna get mine." You know what I mean? Like, I hope this wasn't that
yeah,
situation, but I do know that there's a lot of restaurants that can easily apply an automatic gratuity.
yeah. But Buffalo Wild Wings is not one of them. So if you went with your wife and they fucking put that on, complain. Like literally, I hate telling people to be a fucking Karen and call the manager, but no. This is not literally. I worked at Red Robin for fucking years, and I've worked at Papa John's chains. I worked at all kinds of fast food, retail, you name it. You don't just fucking. It's like if I did that to someone at Red Robin, I'd get fired. And Buffalo Wild Wings is not even a step up from Red Robin. It might be a lateral move. It's like the same thing. TVs, fried food, wings. It's and fucking burgers and bullshit like that. It's the same bullshit.
You
They
know,
can't just add 20%. You put the little slot and people sign in. They put what they want. Like it's not what.
I think
So
if
definitely
I
bitch.
was on a date, it's just two of us. I would assume that they wouldn't apply gratuity automatically, and I would still tip 20%. So if I tip 20% on top of an automatic 20%, I'd be really pissed. And I think I would be
Yeah,
offended because sometimes I tip more than 20%, you know? Like
totally,
let's say you had a bad experience at Buffalo Wild Wings, but it wasn't the server's fault. Maybe it was just the cook messed up something and the
totally.
server had to deal with it and they fixed it. I would give them more than 20% sometimes. So I think yeah, I think it's shitty, but I also think it's shitty that you're taking your wife on a date to Buffalo Wild Wings.
What the fuck, bro? In Queens, there are so
There are
many
some restaurants I
delicious
find
places.
nostalgic.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
love TGI Fridays, but I would take like my buddies there. I wouldn't take like a
I
spouse
would
there.
I would go with Julie to TGI Fridays, but not as like a date per se. Like it would go like, let's grab a quick bite. It'll be fun, but that's not like date night.
Yeah, it's like I'm really craving those like um
Like they
Jack
have the
Daniel's chicken strips.
yes, exactly,
You know?
exactly. I'm craving that shit. Or like, let's go get a couple drinks and do like the half price appetizers and deal and shit
Yeah.
that they would do. Like, fuck yeah, I'm down for that, but not. Oh baby, it's your birthday, and especially in Queens. You know what I mean? Like if you live in fucking like Kentucky, no offense, Kentuckians, there's not a lot of like fancy dining all around and everywhere. Same thing when we lived in Maryland. You go to like Applebee's and shit for date night. Like it makes fucking sense. But in Queens, there are restaurants and good food of every fucking demographic, every country, every type of goddamn food is available in Queens. That is one thing. Sometimes Queens is a pain in the ass to get to, but if you want Venezuelan food, you'll find it in Queens. You want fucking Nigerian food, you'll find it in Queens. You want Indian food, you'll find it in Queens. Asian, Chinese, Japanese, any kind of fucking Vietnamese, you'll find it in Queens. And it's usually delicious. So
I have like all that
fuck,
stuff on my block. It's
I'm
fantastic.
judging hard. I'm judging this person.
I will say though, when I was younger, working in a restaurant, I heard a lot of really horrible things from the servers about their tables and saying really stereotypical things. And I like to think that we've come a long way in the last 20 years, but I don't think that we have. I
No,
think servers still say really shitty things,
totally.
and it's sad. And um I I've even heard like some of my white friends will like hint at things. I'm like, guys, like that's not nice. Come on. And they're
Now
like
I
testing
will
the
say,
waters.
no, yeah, they do. But I
I'm
will
like, guys,
say,
come on.
if anybody if there's a group of people that in America get treated like absolute shit, and this doesn't happen in other countries as much, it's waiters and waitresses. People really do not understand that waiters and waitresses control your food and that they can easily fuck with your food.
When you said
So
group of people that get treated like shit, I thought you were gonna say the trans community are under attack. Historically, the
that's
black community has really
right.
had an unfair time. Native Americans, I mean, like these, we have to protect these communities, and you're like
those,
waiters. I'm like,
those who are
oh,
truly needy in this country, waiters and waitresses.
I'm gonna start
No,
protesting
it's true.
tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. We're going in the streets, people. No, but yeah,
Yeah,
people, and this is everybody does it. I've seen so many fucking Americans of every demographic pull this shit on waiters and waitresses, but they just treat them like absolute shit, and then they don't even tip them at the end of the fucking thing. So, I, as someone who was a waiter, have dealt with it. So I'm very, very nice to waiters and waitresses, especially those that work hard and you can tell they're fucking grinding out there and they still have the time to be nice and polite and shit. I'll make sure to bump up the tip or be like, hey, let me see the manager real quick. And when the manager comes, be like, that person rocks. Make sure you give them good shifts and shit, and then they come back like, thank you so much. You got to be nice to your waiters and waitresses. Too many people, especially in the land of the internet, they're used to like talking shit and I getting slapped in the mouth, and it shows when they go out to eat. So
yeah.
uh, you got to be nicer, people. But anywho, Aaron, I would complain, but I would also pick a better spot for date night next time. That's on you.
Totally.
So anywho,
And don't
um,
write emails while you're driving. Or maybe, well, if
yeah,
it's the Queens, you're probably on the train.
yeah, you're probably walking, so we'll give you that. But anyhow, it is time for the news. News report shot. Anyways, I actually, this is a breaking news as of this recording. By the time it comes out on Tuesday, it will be a couple days old. But breaking news, I don't even know if you know this, Simo. Had been rumored that the latest season of The Bachelorette had been in trouble after some controversy with its Bachelorette. However, it was just confirmed a couple hours ago by ABC that the latest season of The Bachelorette, starring Taylor Frankie Paul, was canceled amid domestic violence controversy. So,
Uh-oh.
yeah, they had been promoting this season hard. It was literally, I was seeing ads for it up to this morning on TV, which is even primetime slotted ads. So, including during the Oscars, I believe. So, those are not cheap, which means that's a lot of money that was spent promoting the
Just
show.
3 first names as her full
Yes,
name.
and all of them do names too. I don't understand, but yes, ABC officially pulled the upcoming season of The Bachelorette, starring Taylor Frankie Paul, which just sounds like three angry Italians. Hey, Frankie.
I was gonna
Hey,
say,
Taylor. Hey, Paul.
sounds like a dude.
And so it was supposed to premiere 3 days from now, March 22nd, as of this recording. We're recording this a little earlier than usual because of my travels. And following escalating controversy tied to domestic violence allegation, including her boyfriend, who has a girl's name, Dakota Mortensen. So she is Taylor Frankie Paul, and he is Dakota Mortensen. So just note, don't get confused. Dakota is the he, Taylor Frankie, she.
Well,
Very
I
progressive.
just Googled her. So is she part of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives?
I believe she was. Yes.
Um,
So
because it said that not only did um they pulled The Bachelorette, but it says that filming for the 5th season was halted in March 2026 because of this as well.
There you
So there's
go.
2 shows.
There you go. So, all right. So let's get to it. The
Yeah.
network's parent company, Disney Entertainment Television, announced on March 19th that it would not move forward with the season after newly surfaced footage and ongoing legal concerns intensified scrutiny around the show's lead. Basically, there's a combination of newly surfaced video evidence and an active police investigation that the network says made the situation untenable for them. First things first, a 2023 video released publicly just before the premiere reportedly shows Paul attacking Mortensen with objects, including chairs, in front of a child. ABC had initially planned to proceed with airing the season despite earlier reports of legal issues. However, the release of the video prompted a reversal. In a statement, Disney said the decision was made in light of the newly released video and emphasized a focus on supporting the family, which would effectively cancel season 22, which, like as I said, was fully filmed and heavily promoted. Now, for some details, in March 2026, authorities confirmed, so literally this month, authorities confirmed an open domestic assault investigation involving Paul and Mortensen. Police reported that allegations have been made in both directions, suggested a dispute with conflicting claims. The incident reportedly occurred in late February 2026, with both parties involved in a domestic dispute that led to police contact. The situation also caused production on Paul's Hulu show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, to halt filming it. So there you go. The controversy also revived scrutiny of a prior incident. When in 2023, Paul was arrested and charged with aggravated assault, criminal mischief, and domestic violence and presence of a child. There you go, which you mentioned. Reports at the time alleges that she threw objects, including furniture, that struck her partner and possibly the kid. She later pled guilty to a reduced misdemeanor aggravated assault charge, while other charges were dismissed. The resurfaced video appears to be tied to an earlier incident. Also, really money talks. A major brand sponsor, Cinnabon, which is fucking delicious.
I love Cinnabon.
Right, it's so good. They cut ties with both The Bachelorette and Paul's Hulu series amid the allegations. And then public backlash intensified online with calls for ABC to cancel the season, even before the initial announcement. So she was already a little unconventional as far as her casting goes, because she was the first Bachelorette lead not previously appearing on The Bachelor. And ABC had leaned into her viral fame and controversial personal life in an attempt to revive the franchise. So as of now, the strategy ultimately backfired as her past and present legal issues overshadowed the show before it even airs. But as of now, the season is fully pulled and not airing. There's no replacement lead or revised season that has been announced, and the future of the franchise as a whole remains uncertain. So,
yikes!
What do you think about that, Mr. Mo? Shit gets crazy in Bachelor.
Wasn't there another season of like The Bachelorette where like there was a murderer and they had to pull that season too?
Oh, that's a good question.
I thought there was a situation where like they had to cancel a season because it was like, I don't know, if it was in the midst of like investigation.
Let's Google this. No, there was one that. Oh yeah, the almost canceled situation. It was a pause or something. Yeah, no, apparently this is the first one that was fully pulled. And I don't know, there's something, a skip season. So,
yeah, there was a situation once before.
Yeah. That's because, so what happened with the pause? I'm curious now. But that season started to air. So, Purple Street. Oh no, I guess they they just paused it. Like I said, they didn't film a season or something because they were like rebooting the show, and I guess they came back with this.
Oh, I thought there was something else that had happened a while
Yeah, I
back.
don't know. I can't find anything. But anyways,
I'll find it. I think that she sounds like a hot mess of a Mormon. I don't think Mormon women are expected to date 20 guys at once. I'm assuming she's
yeah.
Mormon. If she's on the Mormon Wives and she's from Utah, is that a safe assumption
Mm.
to make? So,
Well, to be fair, they are allowed to marry multiple people, right? So
um,
I guess The Bachelor is like the perfect thing for them.
I kind of got the sense that it's a very patriarchal, like misogynistic culture where like the guys were encouraged to do what they want to, but the girls weren't.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
don't know.
That makes sense. Well, Bachelor, you canceled. So I heard a rumor they were going to try to make her pay like whether her salary back or something. I don't know, but I have a feeling this is not over. So stay tuned. So the juicy happens. We'll come back with it. But anyways, it is time now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Frat chatters of all ages for not the drag queens
Not the
because
drag
this
queen.
week, that's right, we have an explosive one, a crazy one, a fantastic one. Because this week, but not the drag queens, the Epstein files are back, baby, and they just got even juicier. Because in a breaking update from the past 24 hours as of this recording, Representative Dan Goldman dropped a bombshell regarding Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And spoiler alert, it's exactly the kind of thing the Department of Justice probably didn't want you seeing. So, and initially, an email from 2009 that was released with the files was almost completely redacted. Big blocky pieces of shit, you couldn't see anything. But Representative Goldman was able to get his hands on an unredacted version, which Goldman revealed today. And then we finally see the full notes from a conversation involving Jeffrey Epstein's attorney and Donald Trump's attorney. And what do they show? That Trump's long-standing claim that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago doesn't hold up. People, it was a lie. So here's the kicker. According to Trump's own lawyer, Alan Garden, which is with a T, not a D, so I don't know if it's Garten or Garten. I don't know. I'm trying my best here, people. But according to his own lawyer, Epstein was never a member of Mar-a-Lago, meaning there was literally nothing for Trump to terminate, so he couldn't ban him from the club. And Mar-a-Lago manager Bort Kemp also confirmed Epstein was never even asked to leave. So Trump says he kicked him out, but the emails in the club's management and his own attorney paint a very different picture. It's classic, like, my ex says we broke up, but we're still texting at 2 a.m. type energy. And it gets even more absurd because instead of a proper deposition, Trump didn't have to appear in person about this shit. He got a 20-minute phone call through his attorney. That's it. No cameras, no under oath grilling, just a casual chat. Me and the emails and management statements are sitting there like, bro, what part of never a member did you not get? So here's the full email. And you can see from everything that was redacted says, spoke to Alan Garden, Trump's attorney. Garden arranged, following was discussed. J.E., Jeffrey Epstein, ever expelled from Mar-a-Lago? No, he was not a member. May have been a guest, never asked to leave. Mark Epstein says Trump on J.E. plane. Is that true? This one definitely sounds like Trump answering. I've been in a lot of planes. May have been on his plane. No young girls on the plane. What do you know about the allegations against J.E.? Only what I read in the paper. Trump ever at J.E. house? I may have been there with my wife, believe me. Any young girls there? No, may have been children of guests, but that's it. And Trump specifically asked Garden to advise us of the interview. Brad had also previously talked to manager of Mar-a-Lago, Bort Kemp. Kemp confirmed J.E. never asked to leave Mar-a-Lago. So Bottom line, Trump says he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago literally says otherwise. And Trump just phones it in like he's ordering a pizza. But that is a huge talking point that a lot of his still defenders in MAGA have. It's like, no, Trump says that he kicked Epstein out at this certain date. And so after that, there's no more association, and they refuse to hear anything else. Here you see Trump's own attorney and his own club manager saying that this never happened. That's huge, dude. That's huge.
They're gonna interview Jeffrey Epstein's prison guard that worked I think
the one that Googled crazy shit before he died, like right before he died.
Yeah, and also was getting like money deposited into her account.
Yeah. That show is weird. So
also Donald Trump also said, was it yesterday, talking to the Japanese Prime Minister?
Oh yeah.
Did you hear about this?
Crazy. Yeah. If anybody knows about surprises in Japan, okay, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Believe me. Well, you weren't alive, you fucking idiot. But yeah, no. But so, yeah, he's crazy, and I don't know, man. The more of these files that come out, the more I understand why he's hiding them. And as we remind you every week, the call is definitely coming from inside the house, people. It's at this time. It looks like it's the White House. So that's not the drag queens, people.
Didn't Donald Trump have Jeffrey Epstein over for Thanksgiving, like after like a lot of his drama?
Oh yeah, like right before he was arrested, shit. Right when he was president. We covered it on the Epstein episode. So
yikes, horrible.
Yeah.
What is this world like? Like, this is so crazy. Yeah. The world is crazy. Ugh,
crazy. But anyways, now it's time to get to it, Mr. Mo, because we have a crazy episode today. We have a terrifying episode today.
It's scary.
It's scary stuff because going camping is supposed to be a relaxing time, a peaceful time, a time to enjoy Mother Nature. And while some people might find it a little bit scary to be out there by yourself, the scariest part that can happen at going camping is to find out that you're not alone. That's why this week we're going to give you our top 10 list of terrifying camping stories that will surely make you shit your pants and reconsider spending the night out in the woods, just in a little teeny tiny tent, your only means of protection. So, stay tuned. Sit down. I suggest you turn on all the lights because we got some top 10 terrifying stories here to rock your world. So, let's get scary, Mr. Mo. Oh, yeah.
Let me just make it very clear. I've never been camping before in my life. You know what? I've always thought of camping as like one of those like dumb white people things where they're like, let's do something scary because it should be fun. Like, I don't want to swim with sharks. I don't want to jump out of a plane. I don't want to do anything that's remotely like unnatural. And white people love to like make a campfire. We've come so far. We have electricity. Like, we don't need to do as like our forefathers did. You know what I mean? Like,
I have gone camping and it is fun. I will say it is a little unnerving when you're out in the dark and you hear like animals and stuff. But again, like that, you kind of get used to it and that's what you expect. But the worst is when you think you're alone and then you hear footsteps or some shit or a person that's there and all of a sudden like, who the fuck is this? So yeah, that's when things go from a pleasant trip to a goddamn nightmare real quick. And you don't know who's out there in the woods. There's a lot of
I don't know who's out there or what's out there.
Yeah, but either way, I'm good. Been there, done that.
I
Don't
was
need to do it
reading
again.
these articles about people saying that um sometimes they've lost track of time and
Yeah,
they follow voices that sound familiar but not quite. And that some
yeah,
people said that they even walked up sets of stairs that led to nowhere. I'm like,
yeah.
what? Why would
Shit's
you
weird, man.
do that?
Shit is weird.
You know, if you
So,
want to exercise, go walk in the mall with my dad. He gets a lot of
and
steps in and he walks with his friends at the mall every morning.
stop and get a Cinnabon while you're there. That's
Yeah, that's
I'm
healthy.
I'm
So,
craving
okay,
it.
my first one is kind of a throwaway one, but this kind of creeped me out. So this is entitled "The Not a Deer Encounter." So campers in a few places, but specifically the Appalachian Mountains. Let me tell you, Appalachian people are weird.
Creepy. The Appalachians are
Oh,
scary
good
as
God.
fuck, dude.
Different
Yeah,
species of people in the Appalachia. So, campers in places like Appalachian Mountains report seeing deer that like aren't quite like deer. They're not quite right. So they sometimes they stand on two legs and their eyes like reflect wrong. So it might be like a glowing white or red color and they don't run when you approach them. And some even mimic human voices. So you know what? It might not even be deer. It might just be a bunch of inbreeding. It might be some hills have
but
eyes,
mimics.
inbreeding, weird ass shit. And
Yeah,
hunters and
no,
hikers say the feeling is like immediate dread, like you're being watched by something pretending to be an animal. Like, oh, good God. This is how they come up with these scary movies. A lot of it's based off of like stories from like rangers. No, thank you. No,
totally. But
never.
mimics themselves, which is what these deer supposedly are. They're like an official thing. They're like its own thing, and they specifically happen in the Appalachian Mountains. So, like they're like a category of eerie entities. Like Sima said, they imitate human voices, sounds, or behavior to lure people deeper into the woods. So these stories are specifically common in the mountains stretching through places like the Appalachian, where isolation plus dense forest is the perfect breeding ground for the legends. So they copy voices perfectly. Like you might hear your name called in like a loved one's voice, even if that person isn't there. And you'll hear repeated sounds and shit that are out of place, like footsteps, whistles, crying, or knocking, usually coming from the wrong direction or at like impossible times. But the big rule in the stories is that they try to lure you away. If you follow the sound, you go deeper into the woods, and that's when things go bad. So if you see
Mm-mm.
something that's like slightly off behavior, it might look human, but move wrong, stand too still, or smile too long, then it might be a mimic. So that you have things that are not deer, like Simo said, they look like deer, but something is very wrong. They have like their wrong joints or human-like eyes or natural movement, and so
Mm-mm.
sometimes associated with watching or stalking rather than mimicking voices. But they also have skinwalkers, which are from Navajo culture, which sometimes are supposed to shapeshift or mimic voices. They have
Uh-uh.
the Whistler, a more general legend, and all kinds of shit. So the rule for these things is again, don't follow the voices into the wood. Don't respond if something calls your name at night. Don't whistle back ever. And if something feels off, leave immediately. So those are the rules. That's a great one. Not a throwaway at all. If you've been to the fucking Appalachians, or if you've been on TikTok late at night when the fucking people start posting those mimic videos for some reason, that's when they always come at me when it's like 3 in the morning. I can't sleep already, and then you see someone like open their goddamn window in the Appalachian. There's some fucking random thing standing there, like whispering their name. It is super creepy. So that's why people there sleep with their curtains down. So they don't fucking you don't want
Let me tell you,
to let
if
anyone's
something
look in
was
your window.
shaking my tent, I'm gonna start shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, I would never like the person I went camping with. I remember it was me, another kid. We were both like 18, and the adult brought a gun, and it was just in case. You should have like some kind of weapon just in case. You never fucking know, man.
Because people are like, because these tents are just like vinyl, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're like parachute material, and so I feel like in these movies they're like, let me unzip and see. I'm not looking at nothing. I'm gonna start
No,
shooting.
no.
If I hear growling and they're shaking the tent, you fuck with the wrong faggot. I'm shooting you.
Amen. Yeah, fuck that. I'm not. If I see a shadow right there, I'm blasting too, man. I get it. Fuck that. But anyways, on to my first one, Mr. Mo, and this one is in Nahanni Valley in Canada. It is the story of the Headless Men.
No, they're just Canadians with no necks.
That's right. Hello, buddy. Now, there are remote places, and then there's Nahanni. It's deep in the Northwest Territories of Canada. Nahanni Valley is the kind of wilderness that feels untouched. There's massive cliffs, dense forests, rivers cutting through miles of isolation. Even today, it's very difficult to access. However, in the early 1900s, men came here chasing gold, and many of them never left. At first, disappearances were written off as the cost of the environment. Harsh winters, dangerous terrains, easy to get lost, but then the bodies started being found. In 1908, two brothers, Frank and Willie McLeod, I don't know, entered the valley searching for gold. They vanished, and years later, the remains were discovered. Both had been decapitated. There was no clear evidence of an animal attack, no signs of a typical accident, just missing heads. And then it happened again. A man named Martin Jorgensen was laid found near his campsite. His cabin had burnt down. His body was discovered nearby, also decapitated. Over time, more stories emerged. Prospectors disappearing without a trace, partial remains found years later. Camps abandoned as if people left suddenly or never returned, with no consistent explanation ever stuck. Some believe it was humans, rival prospectors killing for gold, a serial killer operating in extreme isolation. Others pointed to something else entirely. Local indigenous den stories spoke of the land in ways that didn't frame it as empty, but as something with a presence, a place you can just enter without consequence. And even modern visitors describe it as the same way. An overwhelming silence, a feeling of being watched, a sense that something is off. And today, Nahanni is a protected national park, and there are no confirmed recent headless cases like the early ones. No investigation tying the events together, but the mystery was never solved. No killer was identified, no clear pattern was proven, no explanation was universally accepted. Just a collection of cases spread across the years, all tied to the same place. The Valley of the
That's
Headless
scary.
Men.
But you know what I think though? I'll just think to myself like, um, America, all of North and South America, there was indigenous tribes there first. So
Yeah,
like, if white people came from Europe and were like, yeah, we're gonna take this, then I can understand the original inhabitants being like, you know what, we're gonna scare the shit out of them. We're gonna think of the most horrifying thing that we can think of to scare these fuckers to back up off my land. So like,
that's
if
true.
this is retaliatory because an indigenous community was pushed off of their home ground, I think this is justifiable behavior.
So this is like early 1900s punked, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Here comes Jebediah Kutcher, our host.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that was sweet. Guys, that was wild. Yeah, no, I totally could see it. Absolutely being natives to the land, especially when
Yeah.
they were, these crazy woods and forests and wildlands, and it's already difficult to get through. And then, they leave it in a way where it looks like it's ghosts or creatures or something. And hopefully that gets people to not show up there anymore. I could 100% see it. But either way, I don't want to lose my head. So whether it's people doing it or it's some fucking ghost or a curse or an animal that just eats your head and leaves the rest of you, I'm cool. I'm cool over here. I'm cool just reading about it to you guys. Fuck that. Like, I would not be those prospectors who are just, oh yeah, some dudes got decapitated in there prospecting for gold. Nah, we'll be different. We'll be fine. That was just that.
I just wonder, like,
Nope.
how many people had to get their heads chopped up before they're like, maybe we shouldn't
Maybe
go.
we just don't go.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I agree.
I
I
don't know.
agree.
People are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have to stay in school.
That's right. Stay in school, kids. You learn anything about these terrifying stories. Stay
Yeah.
in school. That's the
Okay,
lesson.
so my next one is it's kind of a collection, but it's just you ever heard of missing 411 cases?
No.
So it refers to mm, like a collection of unexplained disappearances occurring primarily in like national parks and like remote wilderness type areas, places
Oh.
that you won't find me. So I'm not worried.
Yeah,
Um,
fuck that.
and I think it's some dude wrote about this like in a book. So maybe the book was called like Missing 411. I don't know. So yeah, people like vanish under like weird circumstances, and there's like common patterns. So people disappear near water or granite boulders. Dogs refuse to track scent. It's like in dogs can't find you. Victims are found miles away with no memory. They just like wander off following these voices, these mimics, who knows. Um, some are found in impossible locations. Like I read this one story about like someone was like on the other side of the Grand Canyon. They're like, "How'd you get there?" Like, I don't know. I just kept following these voices. So many campers report hearing footsteps. So while not always confirmed as murder, some cases just really like disturbing. It's like bodies were found in unusual conditions. Sometimes the clothing was removed or like nicely folded. Victims found far beyond expected travel range, and some search and rescue teams describe scenes that don't match natural causes. So, like, you know, I would not want to be a search and rescue team or a ranger to have to tell like a grieving family, okay, we found your, you know, family member's remains, and we don't have a flying fuck of an idea of what the fuck happened. Like, what do you mean you don't know?
Yeah.
I don't know. There is like some big ass footprints that doesn't match any animals that we've seen. We've been hearing a bunch of weird like voices, but no one's out here, we don't think. Um yeah, like your family members' clothes were nicely folded and
That's
stacked
so
up.
creepy, dude.
Yeah,
That's
we really
so
have no
creepy.
idea, but I'm gonna go home and light a candle for you, and I hope you guys can get past this really heavy time. Like, what do you say to these families? I could not do it.
Yeah.
You know what? I used to think to myself, I never want to drive a tow truck because no one's ever gonna be happy with you. You're never gonna have a satisfied customer ever. Everyone's gonna be like,
Well,
"Fuck you! Don't take my car," you know. But I think I'm gonna
unless you pop a
retract
tire on
that.
the side of the road. I've been happy to see a tow truck before, but
Oh,
I
I guess
haven't got
that's
my car
true.
towed.
Well, what if you're a
So
boot company? If you have to boot people, that's a
yeah,
job that
that's
no one
different.
wants to see, you know? So I'm
Totally.
gonna take that back. That's my number two least favorite kind of job. My number one least favorite job is gonna be a fucking ranger. I don't want to deal with this scary shit.
Yeah, dude. Now, the thing
Mm-mm.
that makes it super creepy too is that you mentioned that dogs wouldn't go after the scent and shit, and that either they couldn't or they would just flat out like be too scared to do it. And when a dog is too fucking scared to go do something, you get the fuck out.
Oh,
You run.
totally.
You go the other way. Dogs are like the bravest, most supportive creatures that Mother Nature designed. Like they will go with you in a fucking burning building. But if they're terrified of something in the woods, you move. You listen to that fucking dog.
You know what? If I'm dating, let's say I was dating Brad Pitt, his lucky day.
You
If I
wish.
was dating Brad Pitt and
Maybe his janitor.
and he said, "I don't like dogs," I'd be like, "Well, that's disappointing because I would want a partner that likes dogs." But if my dog didn't like him, that would be a done deal.
Yeah. Yeah,
Done
sorry,
deal.
Brad.
I trust dogs' instincts for sure.
Absolutely. Dogs know, man. Dogs know. So many cases of bad people that got away with crimes could have been solved if people just listened to their dogs. But, if you don't listen to your own gut, at least listen to your dog. That's
I
my
read
thing.
this other article that said that these young campers found a campsite where food was still cooking. All the clothes were folded up, nice and neat, and there's no one around there. But like food was cooking, and they couldn't find anyone. And they got like some rangers. They're like, "Hey, um, we found this like campsite, and um, no one's been there for a long time, but they have food cooking." And then they came back to
Wow.
that site, and everything was gone. And then they came back again later, and it was back up again. But they never found. There's no footprints. I read this other article where this guy um was missing. They found his backpack. They had it in evidence, and somehow the backpack, they don't know how, ended up back at the crime scene. Same exact backpack. And they're like, how the fuck it was locked up in evidence? Like, what? Weird ass shit. Oh no. Oh, good God.
Ooh.
I'm keeping my
There's
ass in
another
the
case.
city.
There's another case from the missing 411 pattern called the Dennis Martin case. And it's a little kid. Then in June 1969 in Great Smoky Mountains National Park, 6-year-old Dennis hid behind bushes to prank his family, and other kids were also hiding in bushes. And then all the kids jumped out, but Dennis never did. And he vanished in seconds, in broad daylight, with people all around him. There was a massive search with 1,000+ people looking, no trace of him. Like I said, he managed in moments. There was no scream, no struggle, no trail, nothing like that. The dogs could not get a consistent scent on him. So it's almost like he just fucking whoop, disappeared off the face of the earth, which is wild. And, of course, it rained, which destroyed potential tracks. So that's not good. And some say that a family member claimed a man in rough, possibly military style clothing was seen in the area, allegedly moving quickly through the woods, possibly carrying something, but there's not full evidence of that. But the fact that this kid just disappeared like that, no trace from the dogs.
Well, that was my number 3 one with Dennis Martin. So since we're on the
I'm
topic,
sorry.
um, so he was playing like hide and go seek with other kids.
Yeah.
And the Green Berets, like when they get called in, that's like
Oh
serious.
shit. The Green Berets. Yeah, no, I don't.
Found nothing. And then there were some witnesses in like nearby campgrounds that were like, we saw this like hairy man-like figure carrying something on his shoulder. So there was a lot of like people would throw around accusations of Bigfoot. And then one family said that their son was nearly grabbed earlier that day by something.
Oh.
But to this day, it's one of the most famous unsolved missing person cases in a national park. Poor kid.
Wow. Holy shit, dude. And the fucking Green Berets couldn't find them.
Yep.
If the Green Berets can't find a trace of, like the Green Berets, people, if you don't know, they're like the best of the best. It's like special forces type shit. And they know like how to survive in nature. They know everything. Like the Green Beret can't find you. So what do you think? How the fuck? That's so creepy, dude. How the fuck does that happen?
Sometimes I think to myself, if if a dog can't find the scent, they can't find um any trace, then maybe the kid got snatched up in the trees. So I think to
Maybe.
myself, like I've seen like bobcats like with incredible like hunting
Ooh.
skills. Maybe, and I've also seen like bears climb trees. Maybe he was snatched from above, and they're
Yeah,
looking
but
around in like a 10-mile radius. Maybe you should have been looking up.
that's true. But I feel like if a bobcat took him, you would find like pieces of him, something, a
I also
sock,
think there's
something.
probably a lot of like crazy people that probably live in like holes buried underground. There's probably a lot of like crazy, and they're
Oh God,
cannibalistic,
no, not.
creepy people that probably take over old wells and like make a fortress.
That's true, dude. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
He could
I'm
have
never
fallen in
going
a
outside again.
ditch.
Yeah, fuck that, dude.
Mm-mm.
I'm never going outside again.
No way.
I am becoming a shut in. It's gonna be great. Fuck that. Whew. Well, on to another one that was super creepy. So for this next one is the Braley Pond haunting, and the story begins with a murder so brutal it left a community scarred, and then it evolves into reports of things in the night that aren't just scary; they're inexplicable. So this is the story of Braley Pond, a scenic campground located in Virginia, nestled deep in the George Washington and Jefferson National Forest in Rappahannock County. Say that fast 10 times, I dare you. Now, it's infamous for violence and strange phenomena that some campers won't ever forget. And what draws people to this secluded pond today wasn't always paranormal lore, it was a real crime and real victims. Because on the night of May 22nd, 2003, 19-year-old Christopher S. Kennedy was lured to Braley Pond by members of a local gang. There, in the early morning hours, he was stabbed repeatedly, 13 times in his chest and back.
They have gangs in Virginia?
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Maybe
Oh
they're dance
wow.
gangs. I
Who
don't
knew?
know. Now, his body was later found partially submerged in the water by a fisherman at dawn. Investigators at the time described the scene as one of the more violent crimes in the area's history. Now, for the families and friends of Christopher Kennedy, that violence is a wound that never really healed. But in the months and years after the murder, something odd began to circulate among campers and paranormal explorers. People reported experiences that weren't just spooky campfire tales, they were persistent, chilling spatial encounters at night or near the water. Multiple visitors claimed to sense an overwhelming feeling of dread on the trail leading to the dam and around the pond. Witness accounts include seeing floating lights and orb-like shapes hovering above the water late at night, described as not matching any natural sources. A local paranormal investigator, Shay Willis, described a moment when she and a companion were nearly hit with a sudden splash from the water without a visible cause while investigating the site after dark. And the same team reported seeing a large green orb gleaming in the trees, then disappearing in an instant, with no logical explanation for what it was. Willis later said that at night was one of the most intense experiences she'd ever had in the field. A feeling of presence that went beyond fear or imagination. Some campers have even reported hearing laughter of children when no children are present,
Ooh, hell no.
Yeah, fuck that. They also report hearing footsteps sloshing in the pond at night and an eerie weight or atmosphere that doesn't feel natural. And these encounters aren't just isolated whisperings, they're stories repeated by multiple people who spent a night there. Which is what makes this story so creepy. It's not just that a violent murder happened there. It's that people, real people, both skeptics and believers, claim they felt or saw things afterwards that they cannot logically explain. Whew, fuck that.
Well,
Fuck that.
let's just call a spade a spade. If your last name is Kennedy, you are fucked.
Yeah.
Fucked.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good.
No bueno. If someone ever said, Chris, this person's a Kennedy, that's a rich family, like, you should look into it. I'm like, I'm running the opposite direction. There's no way in hell. I don't want my name hyphenated with Kennedy, Clinton, Trump, none of them. No.
No way. No way. That's just terrifying, dude. And like, I wonder if the thing hunted the gang after or what. I'd like to hear from those dudes. The murderers.
Yeah. What gang is this?
Right? That's a good question. I'd like to know the Virginia gangs. Like, what are they? Are they like KKK gangs? I'm genuinely curious. But then again, we lived in Maryland, and there was like, like sometimes like MS-13 and shit would make their way out there. So it doesn't.
But Maryland's different because Maryland, there's
right next to
Baltimore City and DC, and there's a lot of crime in DC and Baltimore City.
Yeah, Virginia is right there. It's the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. It's all
but this is like the country, right?
That's true. This is like Rappahannock County, which is deeper Virginia, which is where you think of like Southern generals and shit, Confederate generals, like Jefferson Davis and shit. That's what I think about. So I don't know. That's crazy. Learn something new every day. Virginia gangs. Anyway. Well, I guess since I took one of yours and then you kind of did it last time, I'll just do another one and then we'll catch up.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. And I'll make sure.
Speaking of Virginia.
Yeah. We're back, baby.
Well on topic.
That's right. So now we're going to move to another trial in Virginia. This is the Appalachian Trail Murders, which happened in 1996 in Virginia. Now, the Appalachian Trail is built on trust. You pass strangers all day long. You have brief conversations, share campsites, the quiet, white people nod that they use for greeting as you move in opposite directions. It looks like they're holding in a fart, what they hit people with. Now, there's an unspoken understanding out there that everyone is just trying to make it through the same wilderness. But in May of 1996, two women, Julianne Williams and Laura Winans, were doing exactly that. They weren't reckless. They weren't inexperienced. They had hiked before. They planned their route, and they chose Shenandoah National Park specifically because it was considered one of the safer, more populated sections of the trail.
Shenandoah is my cousin's name. Sounds Mormon, doesn't it?
That's right, it does. God damn it, Shenandoah. You pissed in the yard again.
Pissed in the fridge again. God damn it.
Shenandoah, you stop throwing crack pipes at me, you bitch.
I ran out of toilet paper. Anybody got a sock?
Shenandoah, use your own damn sock. Woo. So, Shenandoah National Park. They were specifically chosen because it was considered one of the safer, more populated sections of the trail. Now, they set up camp along a well-traveled stretch. Other hikers passed through the area that day. Nothing felt wrong. But sometime during the night, someone came into their campsite. Not to steal, not to scare, but to control. Whoa.
Was his last name Kennedy?
That's right. It was RFK. You guys got some sludge I can feed my worm
good
in my
God.
ear.
That would be so
only eat
scary.
toxic waste.
Ugh.
In the middle of the night. You guys want to do some push-ups with me? Now, when their campsite was later discovered, it didn't look like chaos. It looked interrupted. Their gear was still there. Their belongings weren't scattered like an animal attack. There were no signs of a struggle spilling into the woods, because it didn't. It stayed contained. When the bodies were found, the details told a much darker story. They had been bound, restrained, and gagged. This wasn't a quick encounter. This was panic. This wasn't panic. This was someone taking their time. Someone making sure they couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't escape. They were killed at close range, too. And then the killer left, back onto the same trail, where other hikers were moving through the area, completely unaware of what had just happened. But here's where it gets even more unsettling. In the days leading up to the murders, multiple hikers reported a man behaving strangely along that exact stretch of trail. He was described as aggressive, confrontational, fixated on other hikers, especially women. And that man was Daryl David Rice. He already had a history of violent behavior in national parks. He had previously threatened couples, talked openly about harming people, and had been reported to authorities more than once. And after the murders, he became the primary suspect. But there was a problem. There wasn't enough physical evidence to tie him directly to the crime. No DNA, no murder weapons, no definitive forensic link. So he was arrested, but never charged with the murders. Years later,
why?
Because he
used Billy Bob's rope and scissors and duct tape.
That's right. That'll do it. That'll do it. It was Shenandoah's.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, Rice was convicted of a separate violent crime involving the abduction of a woman in another park. He served time and died in prison in 2017, which leaves the case in a strange place because investigators still believe he was responsible, but legally, no one was ever convicted. So officially, the case remains unsolved. And that leaves one lingering thought that's hard to shake. On a trail where people rely on each other, where strangers pass within feet of you all day, someone wasn't just hiking. They were looking for their next victim. And they found them. And that's fucking terrifying.
You know what? That is very scary. But I always tell myself it can always be worse. Maybe he wasn't circumcised. You know what I mean? So, like, gotta look at the bright side of things.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
All right. Well, next up, I think that was scarier than this one. This one is pretty brief. You know what? I Googled how to say this word because I was prepared to come on this podcast and say Yosemite.
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 Yosemite, like Yosemite Sam, the cartoon.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I should have known that. Yosemite. 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 So this is a guy named Kerry Stainer, and he's known as the Yosemite Killer. Oh. So in 1999, which is only 27 years ago, there's a handyman working near Yosemite. He like killed a lot of people. So He abducted and killed a woman and her teenage daughter from a lodge area. He also murdered a park naturalist near a remote trail. But what makes it is really chilling is that he just knew the terrain, the area like super well. So victims were taken from areas considered super safe, and the wilderness actually helped him to evade detection. So I would think to myself, people that like hike all the time and are real outdoorsy. Now I'm like, I don't trust these motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Uh-uh. If
that's
they know where
fair.
they can hide my parts and they can cover up their tracks. If someone was like, hey Chris, we should go camping. We got a great camping guide. He knows this place inside and out, knows every nook and cranny. I'm gonna say nope. I
Nope.
don't want you anywhere near me. I'm gonna come to the park when you're off that day because I don't trust you. Hell nah.
Yeah, fuck
No.
that, dude. Fuck that. Fuck that. Double fuck that. Not doing it.
But I feel like if there is one unsolved murder, then I'm not gonna go over there. So there's a park naturalist there's killed near there after this woman and her kid were killed in like pretty safe areas. Girl, let me tell you, that's not good. If if I went to okay, let's say so we do comedy. Let's say there's a comedy club and there's two comics brutally destroyed. And there's no explanation. I don't want to I'm not going to perform there. I was like, why they're
Yeah,
attacking comics? What? They're abducted from the comedy club? I'm not going to perform there. No, y'all can. I'm not going to. You know what I mean?
totally.
But people are
Totally.
like, "Oh, this woman and her daughter were brutally murdered." It's not going to happen to me because I'm a park naturalist. You're a dumb bitch. Get your ass behind a door that can lock,
Yeah. Now,
not a
apparently,
zipper. What's a zipper gonna do?
he also used, he would pretend to be like part of the staff or something, like likely doing a ruse. So, because he worked in this lodge where he was the janitor or whatever, but
Yeah.
he pretended he was like authority. So that's people didn't think that they were in any danger whatsoever. And then he would, get control of them in the room, restrain them, and then later transport them away from the lodge. And then, once in the woods where he knew everything, what are you gonna do? So the bodies were found in these remote areas and shit. But man, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Horrible.
And he killed how many people? He killed poor people. Is that what I say? Yeah, 4 murders. This dude had.
And let me tell you, after those 4 murders, people will still go into that camp like yippee. Let's make
Yeah,
some
if anything,
s'mores.
and adds like
What?
a reason to go to the camp. It's like it's funny because those are like the plots of like the Friday the 13th movies. I rewatched all of them this summer or last summer, just because I don't really know why. It just went on. I realized I hadn't seen them all from the very beginning, so I went from number one through Jason X. I watched them all, and literally the
Ugh.
plot of like two to like six, and then again later on is like kids who are just like the camp has been shut down. Oh, let's go see where the murders took place. And there's always one person who's like, maybe we shouldn't, you guys. Everybody's like, shut up, Steven, stop being gay. And then they get killed instantly. So yeah, people fucking do that shit all the time. It's wild, dude. It's wild. Fuck that. There's no chance in hell I'm letting some creepy cabin janitor into my cabin either. What the fuck could you possibly? I'm in a cabin. What could you possibly have to do in here? Like what? I'm shitting in the woods, sir. There's no plumbing. Like
That's so
really?
true.
Like what could you possibly have to do in here? No way.
I heard a light went out. Okay, well that's fine. Like we have lanterns and
Yeah.
flashlights, so we kind of expected that.
So here we are
Okay.
camping.
Doorbell's not working. We
Okay,
don't
you're
need
not
it.
even trying hard anymore,
Okay.
sir. What are you doing? Does this smell like chloroform? Oh, let me see.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, on to my next one. We have the Lake Bodom Murders. We're gonna take you now to
Any lake murders make
Finland.
me nervous.
Yeah, fuck that. So, Lake Bodom is calm, still, quiet in a way that feels like peaceful during the day, but isolating at night. And on June 4th, 1960, 4 teenagers, 2 couples, set up a small tent near the shore. No cabins, no nearby campers, just open space and darkness. And sometime between 4 and 6 a.m., the attack began. Investigators believe the killer never entered the tent. Instead, they attacked from the outside, slashing through the canvas and stabbing inwards. So think about that. The victims were trapped, tangled in sleeping bags, unable to even fully see where the attack was coming from, given the time of night and the fact they're in a tent. So the tent itself became the weapon. 3 of them died at the scene from stab wounds, blunt force trauma, and severe facial injuries. The 4th, Niels Gustafsson, survived, but barely. He was found outside.
Sounds like a Viking.
Yeah, right?
Right?
Oh, Finland, yeah. But
This is
barely.
Finland?
Yep.
This shit happens in America. Finland's like voted like the best nation to live where people are the happiest.
Well, there you go.
Americans must have been there.
That's right. So the 4th, Niels Gustafsson, survived but barely. He was found outside the tent with a fractured jaw, multiple broken bones, and a severe concussion. He later claimed he saw a blurred figure, but couldn't identify who it was. And here's where it gets worse. Their belongings were scattered, but not stolen in any clear pattern. The murder weapon was never definitely recovered. Plus, a man seen nearby earlier was never conclusively tied to the crime. Decades later, Gustafsson himself was even accused, then acquitted due to lack of evidence. So officially, no one knows who did it, which leaves the image, a silent figure, standing outside a tent at dawn, attacking blindly through the fabric, until everyone inside stops moving. That is literally Jason. I think Jason's in Finland, you guys. That's where he was.
Well, maybe if this guy, Nils, maybe if he is he still alive? So maybe if he attacked them and they fought back and broke his jaw, maybe that's how he broke his jaw. You know, who knows?
Maybe. And note, Jason Voorhees supposedly would have drowned in 1957 at 11 years old. So he would have been like 15 here. Maybe he made his way to Finland. That's what really happened. Maybe it's real, y'all. Because that's fucking weird, though. Like, literally, something like that. It's funny because, or not funny, but it's oddly close to. Yeah, yes, it's absolute comedy, people.
Yeah,
but like I think it's Friday the 13th 4, where there are 2 couples of teenagers out in the woods camping outside the camp of Crystal Lake, and Jason literally comes out from outside the tent and fucking like starts stabbing a couple that's having sex, in their tent, exactly like this. Like you can literally see this type of murder in those movies. And then he goes, and there's another one that's like in a fucking sleeping bag, and he grabs the sleeping bag, hangs her upside down in a fire, like lights her on fire and shit. And she dies in there, and then she takes another one and fucking like smashes the sleeping bag onto a tree. It's crazy, but yeah, this murder literally happened in the Friday the 13th movies. So, whew,
That's crazy.
yeah, yeah,
If I really wanted to see what it was like to sleep outside, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a projector and just project some trees on my wall, and I'm gonna open a window.
yeah, exactly. Open a
I might
fucking
even burn
window.
a candle that's like a evergreen scented
That's
candle,
right.
and just that I'm good.
You want to feel the wind, motherfucker? Open a window. That's literally all you need to do. You don't need to fucking spend the night at Camp Crystal Lake just to enjoy a little breeze, or get a fucking fan. Jesus.
I have a coworker who's from Australia, and he was saying how like some of the world's most deadliest animals like live in Australia, like snakes and spiders and
Yeah.
like jellyfish that paralyze you, sharks, and I'm like, okay, I've always wanted to go to Australia, but if I were to go to Australia, I I'm not walking around outside. There's alligators and even like some like these kangaroos are like buff and intense. I don't
Oh,
want to go to no zoo. If I were to go to Australia, I'm keeping my ass in the Airbnb or a restaurant that is not outside.
yeah.
They
I
like they
agree.
bang their shoes together to get spiders to crawl out their shoes. Oh no.
I completely agree. Yeah. Fuck that. Uh-uh.
Anyhow, I got one left. This one made me
Let's
really
see.
sad. This is really scary.
Oh,
So this one happened in 1977. I was only 4, and
liar.
just kidding. I was
For
born in
T.
yeah. Okay, so this happened in Oklahoma, which is another place that's not on my bucket list. So the Oklahoma Girl Scout murders. So this happened at Camp Scott. These poor girls were away at camp. This is one of the most horrifying crimes ever at a campsite. So there's 3 young girls, and their ages were between 8 and 10, and they were murdered in their tent. And their
Damn.
bodies were found just like yards away, and it happened on the first night of camp. So what's really scary is that a counselor earlier had found a note warning that someone was going to kill 3 girls. Like the note literally said, "We are going to kill 3 girls." And the counselor dismissed it as a prank. So the killer had been hiding in the woods and followed through with it and killed 3 girls. They warned them and was like, "Okay, you don't want to take it seriously? I'm gonna do it." And that's what happened. And the case remains controversial even after a suspect was acquitted. No, acquitted.
Wow.
Acquitted?
I quit it.
Equity, acquitted. Acquitted. Scary, right? That's
Yeah.
so sad.
So scary, dude. Oh my god.
And then you saw the news that this like American guy went to Barcelona for like spring break and they found him floating in the ocean.
Yeah.
I'm like, if I had kids and they're like, "Mom, dad," or in my case, dad, um dad number 1, dad number 2.
That's right.
I want to go I want to go camping. Hell no. You're never walking outside this house. I want to can I jump on a flight and go with my schoolmates to Barcelona? Hell no. They drown people
Mm-mm.
like you over there. No, you are not leaving the house. You are
Yeah.
staying here. We're homeschooling you. If you want a college degree, I will make one with Chat GBT. I'll make it real nice. You can hang it up where the fuck you want, but you're never leaving my site. The world's crazy.
Yeah, dude. And that letter, we're on a mission to kill 3 girls. that is creepy as shit. Like, if someone puts that, how are you going to fucking dismiss that as a joke? I know it's the 70s where people were dumber because there weren't as many, known killers out there at the time, and people wouldn't would leave their doors unlocked and shit at night. But it's like, what the fuck? Like, that is not something you joke about. Murdering 3 little girls. What the fuck, dude? That's crazy. And the dude got away with it too. So, like, and even they I see that they did DNA testing later, which suggested the guy who they thought was the killer. It suggests likely that he did it, but the case is still officially unresolved.
What would you have done if while we were at like a hazing event? What would you have done at a hazing event if you guys found a letter that was like, we're on a mission to kill 3 pledges? Would you take it seriously, or would you
Fuck
yell
yeah,
out in the
get out
wilderness?
of
Let me
there."
give you some suggestions.
Yeah, right. Stick a pickle up their ass. They'll love it. Yeah, no, I get the fuck out of there. 1,000%.
Yeah, me too. I'd be like, guys, that's not funny. And if no one can cop to this, we're leaving right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, if one of you guys are joking, this is the time. Otherwise, it's over. We're going home. I
You don't
watch
joke
enough
about that
horror
stuff.
movies. Yeah, no. I watch enough horror movies to know when it's time to get the fuck out. No, I'm not playing with that shit. Well, anywho.
That's why I'm a virgin. Because the
Yes,
horror movies, the whores always get killed first.
that's
Only
right.
one touching me is me.
That's right. Jason doesn't come after you if it's anal. Everybody knows that.
Correct.
It's in the butt.
Father Thomas told me that.
That's right. If it's in the butt, it's good to go. Everybody knows.
Yeah.
Anyways, to the final one.
Yeah, get that music playing. This
Yes,
one's
that's
scary.
right. That's right. This one happened in 1981, and it's the Keddie Cabin Murders. And it was supposed to be a quiet weekend in the woods for the Sharp family, where they stayed at Cabin 28 in the Keddie Cabins in Plumas County, Northern California. And despite being isolated and surrounded by forest, Cabin 28 wasn't isolated in the way you'd expect. It sat inside a small resort community in Keddie, with cabins scattered through the woods, families nearby, and people within shouting distance, which is what makes what happened inside that cabin so hard to process. On April 11th, 1981, Sue Sharp was staying there with her children and a family friend, 17-year-old Dana Wingate. And somewhere between late night and early morning, at least 2 people entered the cabin. This wasn't random chaos, it was controlled. Sue Sharp, her son John, and his friend Dana were all found in the living room. They had been bound with electrical wire and medical tape. Hands tied, mouths restrained. Investigators later determined the bindings were done before the murders, meaning they were alive, conscious, and watching each other as it happened. Now, the weapons weren't brought and used once, they were improvised from inside the cabin. They were a hammer, a knife, and even a pellet gun used as a blunt object. The attacks were prolonged, personal, and absolutely brutal. And then there's the part that doesn't make sense. In the bedroom just feet away, Sue's younger sons were asleep. They woke up the next morning, walked into the living room, and found the bodies. No sign that they had been disturbed, no attempts to harm them, and their 12-year-old daughter Tina, she was gone, taken by whoever had done this awful crime. 3 years later, her remains were found over 50 miles away in a remote area. Investigators later identified prime suspects, men known to the family, Marty Smart and John Bobade. And why them? Apparently, Smart had a violent temper. There was reportedly a dispute with Sue Sharp shortly before the murders, and Smart's wife later told police that he came home the night of the murders acting strange and burned items in the fireplace. Just sketchy shit. Even worse, Smart allegedly confessed to a therapist, but that confession couldn't be used effectively in court because of patient confidentiality.
They gotta change that rule.
Yeah, for like murders, like yeah. Plus, evidence was mishandled early on, and the case suffered from major investigative mistakes. The case was reopened in the 2000s with new evidence, including letters and forensic reanalysis, strengthening suspicions towards the same suspect. But, of course, by now, both primary suspects are now dead. So, unless new DNA evidence definitively ties someone else in, the case may never be officially solved. Which leaves you with this: multiple attackers inside a cabin in a community committing a long, violent crime, somehow leaving without waking anybody else nearby, and never getting caught. Scary shit, dude. Scary shit. That's what's
It's
more
crazy because
unsettling
when I
about
think
this
of California, I think
Mhm.
relaxed. I think people are high and chill. That's the West Coast mentality. I think of this kind of stuff happening like with all the, like the high strung like East Coasters.
Yeah, but remember the Night Stalker, Richard
Yeah.
Ramirez? That was going on in California right around that time, a couple of years after, 1984-ish, I think is when he started. So
He
6 years
looked
after.
crazy. Razor sharp teeth.
Yeah,
Apparently he smelled bad too.
he was fucking crazy. We should do a thing on him at some point. He was.
No, I feel like when you look at him, people should have known, okay, he's psycho. Look at him.
Yeah,
He
absolutely.
stinks. He checks all the boxes. You look at Jared Fogle, you're like, okay, yeah, he's gonna want to touch kids. He looks like the type,
Yeah.
you know.
Obsessed with footlongs and 6 inches. Creepy.
You know what? I'm gonna go to school for like investigative stuff, but I'm not gonna use anything I learned. I'm just gonna look at people that look fucking weird and be like, you did it. I'm going with my gut.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. You know, and I think what's most unsettling for me about this list is that a bunch of these cases are totally unsolved. Like, people got away with this shit, which is wild. Like, usually, a lot of the true crime stuff, we have this is the killer, this is how they got caught, and they suffered or died in jail. Meanwhile, here, it's like, nope, they got away with it. Fucking weird, man. Fucking weird.
Yeah, but I feel like
Anyways.
there's always like moments where people are exhibiting erratic behavior, but they don't want to get involved, and they're like, I don't want to be a Karen, so I don't want to. No. If you see people like having a random bonfire and like burning like what looks like murder weapons and like other people's clothes, like I think you should probably call someone. You know,
Yeah.
if you hear in the apartment next to you that there's a really scary domestic dispute and it sounds brutal, yeah, you should report it. You don't worry about it. They might call you a Karen. Who gives a fuck? Like,
Totally.
you never know.
I agree. There's so many murders that could have been solved if, significant others, neighbors, friends who saw shit and were just like, whatever. That was weird, but let it go. They would have just told someone. Like John Wayne Gacy was married, had a wife who knew that he had this garage that she peeked into and saw like shackles and shit. And that is where he would fucking take people and torture them and shit before killing them. And then they would end up buried under her house. It's like this bitch would have just said, hey, he has a weird dungeon looking thing. Can someone check that out? At least maybe half those murders wouldn't have happened. So It is what it is. But yeah, speak up, people. But anyways, that was our list of top 10 most chilling, scary, terrifying camping stories here, brought to you by the FratChat Podcast. So let us know what you thought of the list. Let us know how many pairs of underwear you went through, and let us know any topics that we should report as well, or any creepy stories that you have, and we can revisit this one. Shoot us an email, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Again, fratchatpodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you give us a follow on all social channels as well. That's at FratChat Podcast on Instagram, on Facebook, on Threads, on YouTube, where you can also watch full episodes and see our beautiful faces, Twitter/X. And you can also give me a follow. Check out my website, carlosgarciacomedy.com. You can also check me out on the socials at Carlos Does the World. That's on Instagram. That's on YouTube, Threads, TikTok, Facebook. Carlos Does World on Twitter/X. You can check out my buddy Seymour here at chris.moore.comedy on Instagram and TikTok, and Seymour Comedy on Twitter/X. Oh, and last but not least, make sure to check us out as of this recording tomorrow. QD Astoria, we're back for Just Kidding. And that lands Wednesday, March 25th, which again, tomorrow as of the airing of this recording. And we have an epic lineup. Mr. Mo will be there. I will be there. Our good friend Ron Prendamano will be there. We got Janelle Draper, who has been on the show before. She will be there. We have Michael Brigante, who you've seen on Comedy Central, in the house. It's going to be pretty good stuff. And we have Lana Siebel as well. You've seen him Don't Tell Comedy, making her debut on the show. So it's going to be pretty
Great lineup.
Yeah, buddy. So it's good shit. So come check it out. And with that being said, Mr. Mel, it's time for us to go. So won't you please get us out of here?
Well, I'm going to motion to adjourn this meeting, but I am not doing this in an effort to go camping.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not sleeping tonight. So I second, so I can go watch something really funny and fluffy. So get some sleep tonight. So we'll be back next week with another edition of the greatest podcast in the history of podcasts and time. It's the FratChat Podcast. See ya!
Peace.